Welcome to the abyss, where hope is a luxury and despair is the main dish. Today we're going to be wading through the murky waters of Grimdark fantasy, where heroes are just as likely to stab you in the back as the villains, and where happily ever after is a phrase that no one dares to utter. If you're new to Grimdark and you're just trying to dip your toes in the water, then you're in the right place, because I'm about to share with you my top 5 Grimdark fantasy books for beginners. Starting off at number 5, A Drowned Kingdom. A Drowned Kingdom is a tale that is as morally murky as the depths its kingdom has sunk into. A Drowned Kingdom has been labeled as ethical grimdark, which for me was a tough nut to crack, because how can a world that is steeped in moral ambiguity and darkness be ethical in any way, shape or form? This is because of the protagonist, Orthun. Orthun, the protagonist, starts out as such a despicable character. You're more likely to throw him overboard than root for him, or even imagine yourself rooting for him. But his journey is one of growth and redemption. A Drowned Kingdom will get you so invested in Orthun's quest to rebuild his shattered kingdom in a foreign land that trading routes, the political alliances will be just as exciting and thrilling as a battle. If you're new to Grimdark, this is the perfect place for you to start. It is dark and it touches on deep ideas of culture, identity and morality, but it's still accessible enough to provide just enough light at the end of the tunnel to keep you from drowning in the abyss. At number 4, we enter the mist-shrouded world of Mistland Saga with 11th Cycle by Kian Adalan. Now, I'm gonna be straight up with you. This book starts out as exciting as a snail and a turtle racing through a molasses. But trust me when I say by the end, you'll be an emotional wreck. The 11th Cycle is like a slow cooked meal. It takes time, but the payoff is worth every minute. The characters, some of the characters, you're going to start out hating everything about them, especially their gods. But by the end of the book, you'll be clutching your chest and wishing you could give them a hug, or whatever a hug counts as in Grimdark. The world here is so vividly painted. It gives you that vibe of Dark Souls, with its lore, with its descriptions, with its religion. It's a book that was inspired by Dark Souls. Even the art on the front page is inspired by Dark Souls, and when you're done reading it, it's going to leave a gaping hole in your chest until Kian Adalan graces us with book 2. So if you're looking for an emotional roller coaster, dive right in. But don't say I didn't warn you. Coming in at number 3, Aching God by Mike Shell. Aching God drips with dark energy. Picture a world where everything is just a little bit wrong. And when I say little, I mean a lot. We're talking heads, literal talking heads, disgruntled gods that are so petty, and insane royals that are just one bad day from unleashing chaos. What makes this book perfect for beginners is the protagonist. He's a beacon of light and hope, and his perspective gives you enough insulation to handle the world of Aching God without going insane. But don't be fooled. This book will leave an imprint in your mind, and maybe, just maybe, give you only 1 or 2 nightmares. So go ahead and add it to your TBR, or better yet, just drop whatever you're reading now and pick it up. It's worth the journey. At number 2, we have Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan. Now this one is as epic as it comes, because Anthony Ryan has this uncanny abilities to write characters that you're not just reading about, you become them. By the end of the first book, I wasn't reading about Valen Alsona, I was Valen. The relationships between the characters in this book is another huge plus, because you're just invested in the direction that it leads the story in. And the battle scenes are so vividly described. You can almost taste the blood in your mouth. You literally feel exhausted after reading a battle because you feel like you've been fighting in that battle with your favorite characters. Anthony Ryan also does something very interesting with the narrative structure. He includes a first person and a third person perspective, and he used that to really flesh out the world. If you haven't already read Bloodsong, do yourself a favor and pick it up. You thank me later, assuming you can still coherently put words together afterwards. And finally, number 1, the crown jewel of Grimdark fantasy for beginners, Joe Abercrombie's First Law Trilogy. When I first picked up this series, I barely ate, I barely slept, I was completely consumed by it. And get this right, Joe Abercrombie doesn't just write characters, he breathes life into them and then twists that life into something dark, compelling, and utterly unforgettable. Make no mistakes, the characters in this book range from mildly evil to downright monstrous, but somehow you will find yourself rooting for them to succeed. The First Law Trilogy is a world where ideologies are shattered and ideas of good and evil are thrown out of the window. The themes in the book would haunt you long after you finish reading it. The First Law Trilogy is not just a must-read, it's a rite of passage for anyone venturing into Grimdark. There's a reason it's number 1 on my list. If you haven't already gone to Amazon and bought it, like, what are you doing? So there you have it. If you enjoy this list, then you're going to enjoy this video where I talk about what makes Grimdark Grimdark. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Stay epic and peace.